Johanna, want to make
All
sure
right.
you're still with us?
I'm here.
Great.
All right. Welcome back. We're coming out of closed session. Was there any action to take out of closed session?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that County of Lake pursue a writ of mandate in the case of the People versus Michael Fernandez.
Second.
So I have a motion to end a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Can you please conduct the roll call, Johanna?
Yeah. Okay, Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 7.4, consideration of cost-sharing agreement for Phase 2 of the Lake County Recreation Center feasibility study. And it looks like we have Lars with us, and we'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Director Ewing.
All right. Good afternoon. Lars Ewing, Public Services Director. As your board may recall, in early 2021, your board approved the county's participation in a cost-sharing agreement with the two cities, Clear Lake and Lakeport, to explore the feasibility of a potential future public recreation center or centers, plural, to be located somewhere in the county. Phase 1 of that effort was completed last summer, and at that time, your board received a presentation of that study, and you also approved financial participation in Phase 2 of the study up to a dollar amount of $31,000, with additional direction that the Phase 2 should investigate potential rec center locations in unincorporated areas of the county. So Phase 2, which is proposed to be moved on now, Phase 2 will include further analysis of possible locations to include unincorporated areas, development of concept designs, a more detailed operational analysis, and then a final presentation to each of the participating partners. One item to point out on the cost-sharing agreement that is included with this agenda item is the addition of the Lakeport Unified School District as a contributing partner to the agreement. And consideration of that cost-sharing agreement is the action that's requested of your board today. And one last item is just to point out the funding. Funding for this, at least for the county's participation in both phases of the study, is budgeted through the county budget through the Cannabis Internal Grant Program. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Supervisor Sabatier?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Director Ewing, for bringing this to our attention. It appears to me when I was reading through the material that there's still the potential for what sites. I'm going to guess that with Lakeport Unified School District joining in, that maybe sites have been dwindled down to something more remote to where they are, or are they joining in even if it happens to go to Lucerne, Middletown, or Clear Lake?
Well, their participation in Phase 2 is independent of the selection of the location. It has not been determined. There's been no recommendation. I shouldn't say determined. There has not been a site recommendation from the consultant. Unified School District from Lakeport was a partner at the initial stage prior to any financial partnership in fact, they were a large driver for it starting to begin with. Out of a concern of the pool. They were really trying to get a pool in that area. The city of Clear Lake joined in as well, and we wanted to expand it to consideration for the county as a whole. So no, we have not come up with a recommendation for one location. The city of Clear Lake, you may note they have a reduced dollar amount in the partnership, primarily because they have already completed a feasibility study of their own for their Burns Valley property. Their remaining as a partner has to do primarily with operational considerations. If there are multiple recreation centers in the county, if there are ever multiple recreation centers in the county, their interest has to do with the potential organizational structure to manage something like that.
Correct. The reason I asked is because you said that we're going into Phase 2 of the project, and I didn't see anywhere on there where it says choosing a a site. It says conceptual layout and design, project capital cost estimate, operational analysis, draft report, final report. I don't see where in phase 2 does it decide which site. At what point would that occur?
That's going to occur essentially at the end of of phase 2. They'll continue their analysis of the potential locations, continue analysis of what the partners provide input on, and that will play into it. So the recommendation will come, near the end, probably with recommended site number 1, number 2, number 3, something along those lines. But it's not spelled out as a broken out task, but it is in task 6. There's conceptual layout and design that would lead into the top 2 or 3 locations. It's not defined that exactly, but that's the intent of it. And I did confirm, and I have it in writing, that they will be looking at locations in the unincorporated county.
Okay, and that was my question, because it says depending upon the optimum location. I wasn't sure if that was a unique qualifier or if that was multiple sites that would be optimal. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much for bringing this to us. Happy to see it moving into phase 2. Definitely a regional draw, not just a specific draw. Wherever it's going to be an opportunity for everybody around the lake to enjoy. So,
Absolutely.
All right, Vice Chair Scott.
And I just wanted to share, I know at the beginning when we had phase 1, we were really hopeful we would have more partners when we got to phase 2, but at least we have the Lakeport Unified School District partnering with us financially, and maybe after phase 2, maybe we'll have some more partners come aboard when we kind of can flesh out maybe where the best area for this to happen. And this is exciting. This was originally on consent, and we pulled it off consent and had it so we can have a discussion. This is, this would benefit everybody here in Lake County, having a place to be able to go for our children. And just thank you for moving this forward.
Supervisor.
I guess my next question is, what are our next steps? Are you going to come back to the board when you have greater detail and a site and layout, or just when there's a need for funding? I'm just kind of curious because I'd love to keep track of what's going on, and just curious how the process will continue with us being engaged with it.
Sure. The way that the consultant's scope of work is spelled out, it includes a final presentation to the various jurisdictions that are participating. It likely will have enough, at least to do a virtual presentation before we decide or before they establish a recommendation for a location. So I think it would be an opportunity at that point for them to come back to your board for an intermediate presentation, and if not them, then me, having had a conversation with them, meetings with them, and a presentation that is driven by them with their information, but maybe just me providing that update to you. So I think we'll make a way to come to your board before there's final recommendations for a location.
I'm excited to hear it.
So am I. I'll add that. I've been silent on that, but I think it's a really great project, regardless of any location.
All right. Vice Chair Scott.
And just to put it out there, this is going to be a very big project that's going to take millions of dollars for it to come together. So this might be another time where we need to sit down with multiple jurisdictions at one meeting to be able to have a full discussion with the school board and the cities and ourselves.
Director Ewing, I had a question. With cost-sharing agreements, if there's future cost-sharing agreements, what type of agencies can be a part of the cost-sharing agreement? I know you probably said this, but I just want to repeat it again.
Well, I didn't, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to answer that absolutely. I would think that coming to your board for consideration, there's any number of options that types of agencies, jurisdictions, organizations that could, I'll say partner with the county, but I'd need to defer to others to more definitively answer that question. The two cities, and in this case now the school district partnering, that was the arrangement that that we came to with this agreement. But I don't I don't know that there's any specific limitations, but I'm extending far beyond my my area of expertise.
Ms. Grant, did you want to answer that?
Well, right now, the agreement is limited to government entities, so any entity that is considered governmental could participate, certainly. You could open it up to private entities as well, but that might necessitate, and I couldn't tell this without looking further, might necessitate a type of public-private partnership arrangement to address the specific distinctions that would be made, but that's also certainly doable.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could offer that the cost sharing agreement is simply for this feasibility study. When we talk about the construction, operation, development, that's information to better inform us is actually included in the scope of this study to provide operational recommendations. For example, a joint use agreement, an MOU, some sort of special district. They're providing information about options, but by no means are they saying which one would be best.
And certainly if it were government entities, you could create a joint powers agreement and create a joint powers authority. I think that's probably what Mr. Ewing's talking about. But yeah, it's early days yet, but what I'm saying is that type of involvement could certainly happen. It's just perhaps different vehicles depending upon what's going on.
Thank you for that. Supervisor Pyska, sorry. I see you had your...
No problem. Yes, and we also have our Blue Zone partners who are in their initial phase of gathering and researching, and could really potentially bring more resources, maybe. Yeah, so I brought that up during my interview with them, and they were excited, as well as some other projects. So I think definitely inviting them to the conversation at some point.
Yeah, and if I could add that the built environment portion of the Blue Zones project is there's a presentation or meeting next week that will certainly include this as a potential discussion point.
All right. Okay, I'll go ahead and open this up for public input. If there's anybody in the public that would like to state something, you have 3 minutes to address about this presentation. Not seeing anybody in the chambers. I don't see anyone on Zoom coming or putting their hand up, so it looks like we'll bring it back to the board, and it looks like we have action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the cost-sharing agreement for Phase 2 of the Lake County Recreation Center feasibility study.
Second.
Motion by Vice Chair Scott, second by Supervisor Pyska. Johanna, please conduct the roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye?
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Director Ewing. So, looks like we have an extra item that we did not conduct as of yet. I'll give the floor to CAO Hutchinson.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So I am requesting that your board consider taking up an extra item. The justification for this request is not posted on the agenda today is because it came to my attention subsequent to the posting of the agenda, and there is a need to have the discussion before the next agenda, so that is the reason. And the item I'm requesting to take up as an extra would be evaluation of CDD Director Mary Darby. In closed session, excuse me.
So moved.
So a motion?
Second.
Do we need to open up to public?
Not
I
yet.
don't think we need to open it to bring it. It looked like we had a second, but we do need to open, oh, sorry. Yeah, here I go again.
When in doubt, open up to public.
Is there anybody in the chambers that would like to provide comment? And there is, oh, maybe not. Okay, so Zoom room, I'm not seeing any hands raised, so we'll bring it back to the board for deliberation. And it looks like we have a
Motion
motion.
stands.
Motion by Supervisor Sabatier, second by Supervisor Simon. Johanna, please conduct a roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye?
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I'm not sure what time that will take place. I'm waiting to hear back from Ms. Darby when
Okay.
she returns from lunch, so I'll keep you posted on when she's available.
So should I can do calendars then right now then?
Oh,
Yes, and
We
you
still
have
have
some,
two items,
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
5.1 and
Consent items.
5.9.
Oh.
What it is,
wow,
yeah.
you thought you were almost
I changed
done.
my page, and so, yeah, sorry. Okay, so we'll go to 5.1, approve application for Prepare California Jumpstart Grant. And that looks like Supervisor Pyska and Supervisor Simon from the risk reduction.
So I know Supervisor Sabate pulled this off of the agenda. I'd like to see what his, if he just wanted it explained, or go ahead.
Yeah,
That would be my question.
I wasn't able to ask questions since there's already two people on the agenda, and I wanted to just pull it for further information. I like the idea of the grant and getting the resiliency officer, I forget the exact name, and obviously, none of those things can occur until the grant is received. And when I looked at the website that was placed inside the memo, there's a whole schedule of things, and I don't believe that we would know until about April whether or not we received the grant. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
And then right around that same time, if not before, a matching grant project, FEMA match or whatever it's called, is supposed to be submitted. And then within the application that is planned to be filled out, it says project. I'm just curious, what is the project that will be submitted? Is that something we're going to discuss later? Or is that a specific that will be in there, other than the resiliency officer funds that we're requesting?
So,
You-
go ahead, Supervisor Pyska.
Yeah, the project is for a resiliency officer, and so we're working with CAO Hutchinson she's writing the application. So that's what it's for. It's for that position and hopefully for a assistant.
And
Hopefully for a support staff position as well.
since that will be an employee of the county, and I know there's that interaction with the Risk Reduction Authority, will the grant be done via the county for the FEMA match afterwards?
There is no match for the Jumpstart program. We're applying to the Jumpstart program.
So you're only doing the
100%
Jump Start,
state
you're not
funded.
doing any of the FEMA match stuff that also seems to tag along with it?
No. We're
Different
applying-
application, different project.
Okay. I just wanted to check in, because the way that I looked at it, it seemed like it was all supposed to happen chronologically together, rather than just one of them, and I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, there is no match on this one. That's why the Jump Start, it really has the name in it, the Jump Start to get going there. So we're applying for we are going to apply for two positions, as we said, the resilience, climate resilience officer.
Climate resilience.
Chief Climate Resilience Officer. There's probably going to be some changes, because we want to look at long-term sustainability and resiliency, which is going to address many different issues, and then also an assistant to do that for the next 5 years. So, and we are moving forward with this, and in coordination, we had some real good discussions to get us to this point, to say, yeah, apply. It was going to be for a specific area in the county, but now it's opened up to everything, and we're really pushing hard to make sure this, we believe, is the tool to tie everything together, so.
Well, I appreciate that you just said what you said, because I was not aware it was an officer and an assistant. I don't
Yeah.
know if I misread that in the memo, but I do appreciate that being said. So I'm looking forward to seeing like the job description and everything else coming in. Of course, we have to wait to see if we even
Yeah.
have the grant funding coming in first, but that sounds exciting, so that we could be proactive on what's happening here rather than reactive to what's happening. So that was my
That's
question.
actually the word that
It's all incorporated.
yeah, we wanted to put that word everywhere, as many places as we could, because this is the piece that's been missing that ties all the work that we've been doing, where it's Supervisor Simon and I kind of in the middle trying to orchestrate with the nonprofits and the RRA and the Fire Safe Council, and we really need that staff. We need the county commitment to do that, and so we're excited.
I appreciate the clarification and information.
And I do want to say to the CAO and you know, all the folks in our office, you know, we appreciate the work that we're being able to move this thing forward through the support of the CAO as we go forward with this project, so.
All right, we'll open it up for public input. Not seeing anyone in the Zoom room or in the chambers, so I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the application to prepare California Jumpstart Grant.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Pyska, second by Supervisor Simon. Johanna, please conduct the roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye?
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move forward to item 5.9, authorize the IT director to issue a purchase order to Berkeley Communications in the amount of $47,737.95 for a network-attached storage system and professional services. And this, I want to see if Shane is aboard with us. And if not, I can hand it off to
So this is a simple correction of a typographical error in the title of the agenda item. If you look on the title, it says $47,737.95. The correct figure should be $45,737.95.
Okay, so 45,000 as opposed to 47,000. Supervisor Sabatier?
And that was the only reason that I pulled that item. The invoice that we have, or the RFP that we have, stops at 40,000, but then says shipping and taxes. And when I reviewed everything, it didn't quite compute, and so that's where we got the correct number to correct the memo and what we approve.
Okay. Open it up for public input. I'm not seeing anybody on Zoom or in the chambers, so we'll bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the purchase order to Berkeley Communications in the amount of $47,737.95 for a network-attached storage system professional service.
I thought it was 45.
The correct
Oh,
figure
sorry,
is
I just read it.
$45,737.95.
I just read it right off the memo without thinking. I apologize. With that number.
$45,737.95.
So I have a motion
Second.
and a second. And Johanna, please conduct the roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye?
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you.
Should we do calendars first, or?
Yes.
We'll go ahead and start with calendars, and Supervisor Simon, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so tomorrow, I think did we move, I think we moved our meeting with CDD tomorrow, so Wednesday, so on Thursday, I have the State Board of Fire Services. Also,
Oh, did you get the meeting, the home hardening meeting is tomorrow with CDD? Did you get that invite?
that's the one I was talking about, whether or not we moved it, because I got a intro overview of Lake County home hardening part, but I thought it was going back in some emails that we were changing that date.
We, last week, we wanted to invite Mary, Director Darby, to explain the program, and so we set that date for her. But we're not having the Friday date that we would normally have.
Okay, thank you very much. I was
But I,
getting my emails right there.
yeah, that one is still on the calendar.
Okay, so I have that one, yes, all right. Done. So Wednesday, State Board of Fire Services on Thursday. So no weekly planning meeting on Friday?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Then obviously, we don't have a meeting. Officers are closed on Monday. We have the tree mortality meeting on the 22nd.
Yes.
That on my calendar. And then on Wednesday, the 23rd, I had another CDD committee meeting. I don't know if that one was proposed or sent out.
The CDD committee meeting on the 23rd is going to be moved to a different date. I was waiting to hear back from everybody, so it won't happen that day.
So that was the one for the March 2nd date that.
Yes,
going
that's,
on. Okay,
I just
all
was
right.
waiting to hear back from one or two other people.
Okay. Thursday, the 24th, don't have anything on there at this point. And then, so have we moved the Friday planning meetings to Wednesdays now, or just this week?
Just the one, and I'm going to
Okay.
email them and confirm that, so we know.
Okay. And then moving into the 28th, the meeting with Carol in the morning. I will not be at the CMAT committee meeting because I have the RDA meeting. I need to schedule to take care of that. And then I will be at the Risk Reduction Authority meeting. We should have plenty of time for that. And then back here on the 1st, I will say that Yesterday, had an internal meeting with CAO Hutchison and Supervisor Pyska. I really appreciate the board approving that Jumpstart application for that grant. I think that's going to be a huge step forward for us as we move forward. And obviously, we've been communicating with Cal OES and working through that process. So hoping to be successful with that as we go forward. I think that is going to be a big-time jump starter, just as it says, for the county to collaborate and pull everything together as we move forward. So, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Simon. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, so tomorrow's pretty light, meeting with the City of Clear Lake for a marketing committee, and then meeting also with Woodland Community College. On Thursday, I don't believe Judge's Breakfast is back quite yet, but I'm meeting with the Lake County Tobacco Policy Summit with the Blue Zones later on in the afternoon, having a sit-down with Congressman Thompson, a CSAC call on the updates of COVID, and then later on that evening, City Council for the City of Clear Lake. Seem to be wide open over the weekend at this moment in time. Monday's pretty open. Tuesday is not filled in. It seems pretty lean on the following week, but I am meeting, or I have Lake County Fire Protection District that I'll be attending over in the City of Clear Lake, starting to attend the Canocti Unified School District Board meetings to kind of keep up with what's going on there. And later on the 24th, I'm part of a RCRC legislative update on what's going on, as well as another CSAC call. And I believe that then just starting all over on Monday and preparing for a meeting on Tuesday.
All right, Supervisor Pyska.
So, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to have the home hardening meeting, and then I'm going to have a meeting with the Riviera HOAs on sirens. Thursday, I have Grant's Best Fits meeting, and then I'm at the grand jury. I have the CAC meeting in the evening. The 18th, I'm just getting confirmation that our home hardening meeting is canceled for that day. Sunday, I'm going on a hike with Director Portney. I'm going to take him to the top of Canocti so he can check out the view of our county. On the 22nd, Tree Mortality Task Force meeting. The 23rd, CDD committee meeting. And then the 24th and 25th, I'm going to be having some time with my family, so I won't make those meetings. And then on the 28th, CMAT, RRA, and meeting with Carol on that Monday morning.
All right, Vice Chair Scott.
Tomorrow's pretty open for me. Thursday, I have the COC Executive Committee meeting at 9, and I'm going to need some assistance noon. I'm supposed to be going to the Law Library meeting. I think, EJ, you're my backup. Are you
Is that
available?
tomorrow?
No, on Thursday. Are you available
What time?
Thursday at noon, if I send you over the information?
I could do noon.
Wonderful. Make sure we have somebody there. And then, City Council meeting tonight, so I'll be attending that. On the 21st, I have a pit count committee. We're going to be going over our numbers and seeing where we are. And then on the 22nd, I have our diversity community planning committee meeting at 6 p.m. that evening. 23rd, agenda review at 9, a Hope Rising meeting at 9:30, an ACT meeting at 1, First 5 Commission meeting at 2. On the 24th, I have Hope Rising meeting at 9, which I'm going to have to leave early to attend the North Coast EMS Governing Board meeting at 10. And then Sir Optimus will be having a meeting at 5:30 at Howard's that evening on the 24th. And that is it for me, and then back here on the 1st.
Thank you. First, I'll start off with the report on the Potter Valley project meeting that was Monday. Came together for that two-basin solution meeting, basically going over the situation where PG&E has decided to fix the turbine and move forward, as the NOI parties have not come to a situation where they can take over the project. So we discussed many of those intricacies, and then also if the group was going to continue meeting. And so looks like they will continue meeting, not as often, I'm pretty sure, but a lot of discussion just in what decommissioning still looks like, and how they just kind of went over the same thing about what's happened. They weren't able to raise funding. A couple of other agencies applied for grants, which we, of course, responded with letters. And so, yeah, that was, I think Supervisor Sabatier asked a question, too, about the NOI parties still existing. And they had stated they had to finish their response for FERC coming in April. But that was a really good question, because we we needed to know if that NOI party was going to keep continuing forward. So not sure if there was really anything else taken from that. But okay, so tomorrow, North Shore Business Association meeting at 7:30. I think that's via Zoom. The law library meeting that's Thursday. Okay,
That's
so it's Worth at 5:30 in Upper Lake, and that'll also be via Zoom. And then Thursday, of course, will be the law library meeting at 12.
And I just sent you that Zoom. It's all done on
Is it a Zoom or is it in person?
Zoom.
Okay, so that'll be a Zoom. With LATH, I'm going to just give a quick update. I'm going to try and schedule a special meeting as opposed to allowing, because they didn't have a chance to post anything or anything like that, and I don't want to go another month without having one. So I'm going to try to consider having a special meeting on the 23rd and get that properly noticed, because not only is the chair still not available due to COVID, but the vice chair has submitted her resignation, and so it's looking like we're going to need to regroup and have a special meeting, discuss some of the topics so we can get back on track for March. So that's what's so there won't be a LAF meeting on Thursday. However, I'm going to publicly notice it for a special meeting on the 23rd of February rather than this week. So we have a week. I want to get that posted by Friday. So I just wanted to notify everyone about that. Friday, I have a meeting with it is Garamendi's office. Ryan Lindsay invited me to meet with him to prepare for potentially the capability to testify about the Berryessa Snow Mountain National Monument Expansion Act. There's a conflict, however. It's on March 1st, which we have a Board of Supervisors meeting. However, it's at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I may be able to do it at 7 a.m. So I'm going to go to that meeting and see what that looks like and try to be a part of that. It's very exciting to be able to do that for the the county and for the district. So, and to be able to help the congressman out on that. So that's going to be Friday. Let's see here. Community visioning on the 22nd, 7 p.m. Agenda review on the 23rd, and then, like I said, probably 6 p.m. is going to look like, because that's the time that usually we do our town council, and it's going to be via Zoom, because I'm not sure how it's looking where we've been recently meeting in Lucerne. So that will be the LAF meeting on the 23rd. Let's see. It's looking like the Clear Lake Oaks Glenhaven Business Association, I'll be doing that on the 24th, and I think they do that at the Moose Lodge, so I'll be going to that. Monday, CAO meeting with Carol, and then back here on Tuesday for Board of Supervisors meeting. So that's what my calendar looks like, and I think we're going to go into, is it closed session for this last extra item?
Yes, sir.
And that's where we'll go from here. Should I read? Does anything have to read off or?
Yes, if you'd like, I can read.
Yes, please.
Okay, okay, so the board will go into closed session for evaluation of CDD Director Mary Darby.
Thank you. With that, we'll go into closed session.
And it'll take Sam a few minutes to shut us down.